Hey guys, the first thing I really want to encourage you guys is with our theme this week. Our theme verse is He must increase and I must decrease. And what you need to know about that is that's a promise. He must increase. That means it's going to happen. Now you have to be intentional, and that's what we talked about this week, is our intentional switch from basically living a life that's all about me to a life that's all about God. Our first night, we talked about the biggest switch of all, the from slave to our sin, to freedom in Christ. That Jesus asks, where is your faith? Most of us have our faith in ourselves. Jesus wants to switch that and put our faith in Him. Our next night, we talked about the switch from all about me to all about thee, all about God, that God desires to become greater in our eyes. Most of us use God to meet our immediate needs, fix our problems right now. God has a bigger plan for us. He wants to become greater in our lives. And when we see that, we talked about, we'll start to see the fruit of our lives, the fruit that comes from having Him being greater in our lives. Things like peace, joy, love, patience, kindness. They come out of our mouths and they're just all over us. When we finally ended our week, we talked about the switch from being status quo, just living our lives for us, whatever we want to do, to really being mission-minded, status go, to be talking about being intentional about bringing our friends to Jesus. If you remember, we talked about the guys who had the paralytic and they brought him to Jesus. They cut a hole in the roof and dropped their friend down. They didn't try to fix him. They didn't try to solve all his problems. They just laid him at the feet of Jesus. And that's what I would encourage you guys to do. When you have your problems, when your friends have your problems, lay them at the feet of Jesus. We had a great week. I look forward to seeing you guys again next year.
Hey guys, it's Miss Allison. Hope you guys are doing awesome, and we had a great week together. It was really awesome to see the cool things that God did in your lives, and I hope and pray that that's just continuing to build and build and build since you guys have been home. We talked about a lot of stuff, but mostly we just talked about what does it look like for God to increase in our life and for us to decrease. He's done so much for us, and Jesus just kind of came, took everything that we knew and just switched it up. He took us from chained. We were slaves to sin. Because of what He did for us on the cross, we have the opportunity to be free. He taught us that it's not about us. It's never about us. It's always going to be about God. That's the greatest commandment, to keep God first in our lives. The second greatest commandment is just like it, to love our neighbor as ourselves. Again, it's just not about us. At the outdoor chapel, we had an awesome opportunity just to have a front row seat to the glory and the power and the goodness of God in His creation. And that deserves a response from us, and that the only appropriate response to how amazing He is worship. And we just finished up with a good reminder from Jesus that we're called to take the good news of who Jesus is to the whole world. And that could be super extravagant, and sometimes that may be us going to another country, but most of the time it's just us staying right where we are and loving people well, and just taking the message daily in our daily lives, in the way that we live Jesus out, in the little things. And people will see Jesus in us that way. Again, I hope you guys are doing awesome. It was a great, great week, and hopefully we'll see you next summer. Bye.